story. Everyone must stand alone. I hear you call my name. Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with it's a been a while video. What's that song? It's been a while. It has been a while. We are doing a bunch of things today. We got to play catch up. Last time I think I did a video was on Friday, so we have a bunch of Friday stuff to do, and then Saturday stuff as well, and we got a bunch of news to go over, and then we got some. So okay, what we got? Kiefer saying, "Let's get this bread. Let's go." Had a piece of bread just now. Penguin saying, "Bullish or bearish for crypto short term?" Might be, yeah. I was gonna say short term. I would say bearish. I'll tell you why. Let's figure out a couple of things here. Ooh, SMOL is down 14% on the day, $656,000. They had a rough day. We'll go over that later. The trading volume is down. The price of crypto is actually up. Bitcoin's flat on the day. Ethereum's down, but it's not even down 1% on the day. Where they at 87.5 and just over 2,900. Everything's very, very flat. Only Solana and Tron are down more than 1%, but it's like 1.2, 1.3. Cardano's down 1.8. Anyway, the reason that I would say that this is relatively bearish short term is because there's just mass manipulation on here. Now, it could just be one of those things where, okay, the trend of Bitcoin and ETH has been going down steadily for months. And that confirmation bias, like, okay, it's been going down, it'll continue to go down unless something changes, unless we hit some key indicators, some key marks. I don't know what you have to hit. 98K, 107K, 100, like whatever you have to hit on the 30, 50-day moving average, et cetera. It's just, we're nowhere near there. It would be it should be a lot more stable once the Clarity Act passes. There should be a bit less manipulation. There should be a bit more approvals for certain things. So this is what, and we'll go right into DEVVE. So the Clarity Act, for whatever reason, part of that is used to be able to hand out virtual asset service provider licenses. At least this is how I understand it. In order to get some of these virtual asset service providers, which is what DFINITY has. DFINITY has one of these vast licenses. Until they have that, it doesn't look like DEVVE will be able to announce their stock exchange partner, which right now seems like it would be a US stock exchange partner. But in again, it could be whoever. I've gone over this multiple times. But it seems Tom has communicated to everyone via Telegram, again, from DEVVE, that once the Clarity Act passes, then these regulators can give out a little more willy-nilly these virtual asset service provider licenses. They can get one, and then that's one of the key things that they need in order for that stock exchange partner to announce them. And when they do that, obviously you'll get a big spotlight shown on the DEVVE token. And if it comes to the fact that, okay, let's say the Clarity Act is delayed, or it doesn't pass, or people lose their minds and they just can't get the license, or it does pass and the regulators are just like, no, for whatever reason, all they need to do is just buy a company that has it. And I'm pretty sure DFINITY was one of those companies they were looking at, but then it came out that DFINITY is worth a ton more than any, because I just got the P&L today again for the rest of the month, and guys, they're crushing it. Like they're doing hundreds of thousands each month. They've done multiple 7 figures this year. This is gross, by the way. I'll just say this, that if you give them a normal company with EBITDA would get like a 20x multiple in like general TradFi. If a company's doing $1 million a year, okay, 20x earnings, so you'd be worth $20 million. With crypto, that number tends to be a little bit higher. And again, they're doing multiple 6 figures a year, so they've done multiple 7 figures throughout this year. I don't want to give too much away. Although if you were listening to mine and Rain's interview of Manu, not the one that I did live, but the private one that was on Crypto Rain's Discord, Manu gives a number of what the company is probably valued at. From there, you could say like, okay, we're worth a little bit more than that 20x multiple, but like how much more, and what, you can plug those numbers in all day. But again, they're they're worth a lot. And I got very lucky. I was just telling someone that when we did the valuation of when Manu bought part of the channel, when Definity Mark bought part of the channel, I was able to do some of it in cash, which was nice, and most of it was done in equity swaps, or share, yeah, equity swap for shareholding agreement, where I own part of Definity Markets DMA link, and they own part of the channel. Like, so that share swap was that when they were worth a much less than they are now. So it's been very nice. So anyway, DEVVE would not be able to purchase DMA link because again, they're just worth way too much. I will tell you that there's multiple companies trying to buy DMA link, I think just for the revenues, because they're insane. And again, this is right now before the Clarity Act passed, before other bigger institutions and ETFs and stuff gets in. But anyway, that's what DEVVE has to do. They would just have to buy a company if they would not get approved for this this virtual asset service provider license. They would just have to buy a company that has that license. This way they have it. It's kind of like when Clark Kent's mom in, I think it was Batman v Superman, where, you know, the bank wasn't letting her pay the mortgage. She was like X amount a month late on the mortgage. So Bruce Wayne finds out about this, and he's just like, "Hey, I took care of that thing for your mom for you." And it's like, "What'd you do? Just like, you know, talk to the bank?" He's like, "No, the bank were being dicks." I was like, "What? Well, what did you do?" He's just like, "I bought the bank." Like, so he just buys one of these local banks. Probably not worth that much, but um, yeah, that's essentially what DEVVE would have to do. Be like, "Okay, you're not going to give us a license. We're just going to buy a company that has it," and they can get it that way. So again, I don't think they'll need to do that. I think if any company is deserving of this virtual asset service provider license, it would be DEVVE. So again, I'm not concerned on that. Let's say it passes in January. Let's say they get the license in February, and then by late Feb, I want to have those lowered expectations and say that we can get something done by and have that partner announced by early April, but it could very well be late February. Could very well be early February. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be later, but it could be like early February where they announce that. Again, I'm going to give it a couple months later. Say it's early April. Either way, I should be getting a nice amount of DEVVE. I should be getting a nice amount of DEVVE in the next, hopefully by tomorrow, but probably not till Friday. So I don't know where this is from. CoinDesk. It says the crypto market is preparing for the expiration of $27 billion worth of Bitcoin and Ethereum options on Deribit on Friday. The expiration involves over 50% of Deribit's total open interest, with a bullish bias indicated by call options outnumbering puts by almost 3-1. Market's panic has subsided, and the looming expiry is likely to be much orderly than last year, according to Deribit. Generally, when everyone expects the market to do one thing, kind of goes the other. I think it was Josh Mandel that said when he first started trading, he would like to go and gather as much information as possible, look at trends, look what the market was doing, look at, you know, gaps, look at liquidity in the market, make the best decision he could, and then do the opposite. And if you did that, you know, 100 times, more than 50% of the time, you would win. So again, it's like one of those things, like, okay, have a monkey throw a dart at a dartboard, and whatever they invest in can sometimes outperform what traders do. Anyway, Incorrigible Gore Slayer says, "Good evening, Choppy Cat. Good to see you. Hope you're enjoying your vacay. It was beautiful. Got to spend a couple days in Florida with girlfriend and Rita baby and dog boy over from. They were nice enough to invite us down to just chill at their place down there, and it was very nice. They showed us around Disney Springs. They showed us around Old Town. They showed us around a bunch of places over in Orlando, and going from, you know, up north where we're from, where it's got, there was days where it was like 2 degrees outside, snowy and cold and just horrible. To go to Florida, you know, Orlando was 75 degrees every day. Oh God, it was beautiful. We were chilling poolside. Um, it was great. It was one of the best vacations because it was with my bae. Um, and then again, slowly introducing her to the VeVe fam. So we got to do that. We got to see Yostef and her family. We got to see them in one of the days that we were there. So again, a very slow introduction to some really cool but mellow people. Feel like if I introduce her to, like, you know, like Sparky and Tammy and Fam Bam and everyone else, like, might be a little overwhelming, might be a little much for her. So again, slow, cool, chill people first, and then the craziness, you know, as the years go on. But yes, it's been very good. Truck and Hank saying Merry Christmas. Only volume is low on Kraken. When do you expect it to increase? So I guess we'll get to that next as well. They had like 7 million in volume. So there was a miscommunication where we had, what was it? We were expecting 3 p.m. UTC time for it to go live on Kraken, but it actually didn't go live on Kraken until yesterday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was just a miscommunication. It was printed, and everyone's like, "Where's the volume? Where can we go get this?" And again, people just misinterpreted that. There was some heckery on the announcement. It was up like 40%. I think we were up like 2.8 at one point. And then, you know, back down to pretty much where we were before this all started, at like 2.1 right now. And the volume's way down today. Yeah, 2.119, down about 7%. Volume is down 66% on the day to 2 point. Again, we were at like 7 million yesterday at some point. And I don't actually see, okay, Kraken, out of the entire volume that we have, Kraken's only 81,000 on there. So it's very, very low, despite it actually being, you know, in the US. So this is very interesting. Everyone thinks that, okay, US is the biggest market. This is what we would go in and buy under. And once you get a large exchange in a US market, we should be able to go in and increase the volume. But most of this volume, I mean, most of the volume is technically on like DeepCoin, which I don't think is like really a real exchange. I don't know anyone that uses it. Supposedly they have over $800,000 worth of volume on there. I don't think that's really ours. I think that's just the company doing that. Maybe it's someone like Dr. Profit. Maybe it's someone saying like, hey, here's let's do a couple $100s a day. Maybe like a couple $100s a day for bots to go back and forth. And maybe that happens. I don't know. But even Uniswap on base has $60,000. So 75% of the stuff that's on Kraken, again, 81,000, you have that on Uniswap on base, which again, not just Americans use. You know, a lot of people use that. But if you're in Asia, you could use OKX, which has over 200,000. If you're in Canada, Mexico, whatever, you can use Gate.io, which has over 300,000 in volume. MEXC has 264,000 in volume. Bing X has 466,000 in volume. Bitmart has 133,000. So yeah, for Kraken to only have that amount of volume is now granted that's in USD. They actually also have a Europe one, and they did another 12,000, which again is pretty low. But even combined, it's only $93,000, less than $94,000 worth of volume. So again, it's very, very low. I would like to see that number up. Again, it's only like the first day in trading. It's going to take some time to people to open up accounts, because even though you can still buy it on Coinbase, it doesn't have an order book on Coinbase. It only has a like a 1 inch an aggregator that uses 1 inch. So you can't see a big order coming in and then buy the order. What you have to do is you have to just, hey, here's my US dollars, and buy it that way, and it can do however much at one time. But for Kraken, at least there's an order book. So you should be able to buy all those sell orders. I think you see a multiple of this volume on Kraken go from $80,000 a day to in the hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. And I think that'll be average. And I think that's without the market moving. I just think people are going to need to, the reason why it might not is because, again, you can buy this on Base, you can buy this on Coinbase, you can buy this on multiple other places where you don't necessarily need an exchange. But I still do think that this announcement and other people, like Dr. Profit posted a poll in the VeVe Gold logo group and the Akomi Secret Rare logo group on Telegram. Like, hey, Kraken Exchange, what are your thoughts? Like, yes, I have one. No, I don't have one, but I'm going to get one. And like stuff like that. And I don't have a Kraken Exchange. I should probably get one. I think everybody should probably have a Kraken account, and then holding just something small, like a couple $100 worth in there. And the reason I think that, because the more accounts that you have on there, the better. It prevents you from delisting, because there's sometimes with exchanges like, hey, too expensive, not a lot of people are trading. There's not a lot of people that have, your token in these wallets. So we need to make more accounts. So everybody probably should get a Kraken account. Sleepin has a good, so Sleepin, let me see if we have this. If you're gonna make an account, use Sleepin Comics thing. A day ago, he says VeVe rank. He posts a bunch of screenshots on how to buy the OMI token on Kraken, and then he says if you join the page, join from the page, it gives you $75. So if you want to go in and make an account, apparently you get $75 free, and it supports VeVe rank. So again, I would definitely go to Sleepin Comics stuff. Go and do that, because why? Like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get the free $75 because I don't have a Kraken account yet. I'm going to use his link, and it supports VeVe rank. He does, and I don't know if anyone else made a post on how to buy the OMI token on Kraken. He posted a bunch of screenshots on there. I'm not getting a kickback from this. Not giving me anything from this, but it's just a way where one hand can wash the other, and we can get a and we can get, just support each other from that. VeVe Zombie, thanks for being a member. Saying, yo, what up? Omar loves Omi, saying good evening. Kraken is great, but not for New York. Yeah, New York is horrible. Omar, see, the part of me that loves you wants you to get out of there, because New York is not a friendly place for people like us. But the selfish part of me was like, no, let them stay there, because you meet a lot of very, very wealthy, very influential people. And having people there that are boots on the ground for me and VeVe, where you can go on and meet these people that nobody else can really meet. You're around these people all the time, and it helps spread the word for me, for VeVe, for a lot of other stuff. That's a really exciting place to be in for that. I wish you didn't have to do it. I wish you could be somewhere else that's a bit more friendlier to, yeah, I wish you could be somewhere that's more friendly towards crypto people. There's a lot of places that are like that. And again, it's good. VeVe should probably give you something, because you do a lot. Anyway, let's move on here. That's OMI. So OMI, you can actually have perps on Kraken. You can buy with like leverage on Kraken. So I know people are going to do that. I don't think that's good for people. I would not do it. But again, there are people that will do something on 10x leverage. They'll most likely get wiped out, and they'll lose. I'm going to say 90+% of people that trade on leverage are going to lose. But every now and then, just like, yeah, I'm going to do a 10x long, and it just sends. And every 10%, that's a 2x on your money. So there are some people that can do that. Some people just get lucky, and maybe you can get lucky. But for the most part, people do lose money. So, you have, I don't know if they'll be staking on Kraken, because right now you can use Cosmos, Secret Network, what is that one? Kusama, Flow, Polkadot, Injective, Mina, The Graph, Tether, USDC, Kata, etc. And OMI's not on the list. I don't know if they're going to add that or not, but we'll see. Anyway, let's go to, all right, Friday stuff over here. The wiring instructions. Thank God that's almost done. That's insane. Delaware Supreme Court officially reinstates Elon Musk's $56 billion Tesla pay package from 2018. What else we got here? It's a nice call. On December 19th, we burned 3.1 million OMI. I love that. What else we got here? HOTTOGO. You can make it hard to go. Kuma said, what up, Ren? Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy Christmas, Harry. Happy Christmas, Ron. It's Harry Potter. I'm not going to go over that yet. IBIT is the only ETF on the 2025 flow leaderboard with a negative return for the year. CT's knee-jerk reaction is to whine about the return, but the real takeaway is that it was 6th place despite the negative return. Boomers putting on a hodl clinic. Even took in more than gold, which is up 64%. That's a really good sign long-term, in my opinion. If you can do 25 billion in a bad year, imagine the flow potential in a good year. This is from Eric Balkunas over on X. Oh, my friends. Here's me in December of 2014 with a couple of friends. Good times, good time. BlackRock sold on December 20th, $173 million worth of Bitcoin and $75 million worth of Ethereum. King of Collectibles Season 3 focuses on Pokemon cards, Episode 2. Very nice. We do have some stuff to talk about with that as well. A whale on December 20th bought 2,500 Bitcoin worth $221 million, which is insane. Tom Lee predicts that Ethereum will hit $7,000 by Q1 2026. DEVVE community says most blockchains optimize for throughput. DEVVE was designed to optimize for settlement finality. Instead, that distinction matters far more than raw transactions per second. Once systems move from retail scale to institutional scale, finality is not a UX feature. It is a market structure requirement. SpongeBob is ready to slide into Fortnite. Shout out to them. That's hysterical. That's also hysterical. We're looking for here. Epstein files were released. A lot of times you can be able to take the blacked out parts, copy it, and paste it into a Word document, and suddenly it's unredacted, which is insane. Let's move on over here. All right, we're in the Saturday. Friday night, I crashed your party. Saturday. Oh, bro. I saw a hawk. Look at that hawk. All pudgy and cute. It was adorable. Shout out to, where the heck is she? Oh my gosh. Shout out to Helia Carr, 311,000 followers over on X, and she is going to be on the podcast later this week. Maybe not this Saturday. It is going to be on January 3rd, so it's a week from Saturday she's going to be on, and it was a fun time getting to know her. Paper off, 1.9 million, almost 2 million OMI burned on December 20th via Stacker, which was great. Mike Jones, I think that will drop as low as 8 cents, then rise to do as like overnight, late 2026. I think if anyone really wanted to sell, they sold after the announcement that they're not doing an announcement in 2025. I mean, so let's go over this. Let's see how this happens here. Let's go to the DEVVE. Hiccups. So DEVVE's down 3% on the day to 21.9 cents, just under 22 cents. They have 500,000 in volume, which isn't a ton, and a $22 million market cap. So 22 million is very low. So let's see what happens. So let's say we're at 22 cents at a $22 million market cap. Let's say you get cut in half. We would be 11 cents at $11 million market cap. That is very low. And I'm not saying we can't go there, because we were back at, I think, 13 cents, 12.5 cents last year when we went down there. And then we rose up to $1.80, then came back here. We're the lowest we've been since that time a year and a half ago. So I'm not saying we can't go back there again. I'm just saying there's so much more known about the company right now. That's just a very, very low market cap. And then, 8 cents, you're at like an $8.2 million market cap. And again, single digit market caps, I just don't expect, and it's crypto, anything can happen. But the biggest FUD and the biggest reasons for people to sell short term were the short term hodlers that did sell at the 28 cent mark. They put it down to like 18, 19 cents before it came back up, went up to like 24. It's back down to 22 right now. So again, the big time where it wasn't necessarily coordinated sells, it was just, oh shit. It was a lot of unknowns because people were saying, oh yeah, they're delaying, which means it's a slow rug. It means this is, it's not happening. So that means it's never going to happen. They're just trying to drag us along. That was the biggest FUD for this company that I've ever seen. And if that didn't drag it down below 18, 19 cents, nothing else is going to. Now, I say that in the ideas that you don't have a black swan event. In a black swan event, yeah, everyone's going to sell everything. Bitcoin can go to, I mean, Manu said the other day that he thinks Bitcoin could do like another 40% drop from here, which is like, okay, 35% drop from 126K. Yeah, that happened. We were already at 79.9K. And sure, we can go there again. But again, a 40% drop from here, what are we at? 80? You're looking at a $50,000 Bitcoin. If that happens, yeah, I expect everything else to do like an 80% drop. Does that happen? We'll see. It seems to me that is very not likely, but again, I've seen crazier things happen in crypto, so who knows? Again, I would love to hear your reasons for why you think DEVVE will drop that low, because that's a very low market cap, and then also why you think it takes till late 2026 to rise to $2, because again, that the latest we should see the big partner announcement would probably be early April. And there seems to be next to 0% chance, less than 1% chance that we have to wait till 2026 to go to all-time highs, when alt season should take care of that just on its own, not including the major announcement, which again, they could go to $2 literally overnight right now if they were to drop that announcement. But if the actual company does it, there should be no reason to be under $2 ever again once that announcement comes in. So again, I would love to hear your reasonings behind that. And I would love to see why you think it would take that long for it to happen. But I obviously have to push back and say that seems a little extreme and a little ridiculous. But again, it's crypto. Anything could happen. You could very much be right, and I could be in the wrong here. What do we got? Cardinal Goat Slayer says, really hoping to see a VeVe booth at MegaCon Orlando in your future. MegaCon, March. Not gonna happen. If one of my cryptos goes up by then, I'll totally go. Actually, if one of my cryptos goes up by then, I will go there for daCat and maybe VeVe, and then I'll bring the girlfriend as well. Y'all can meet her. Again, I was just in Orlando. Jim Lee and Frank Miller are going to be at MegaCon. It would be a good elbow rub for VeVe in DC. Jim Lee is a legend, and Jim Lee is someone that everybody knows the work, love the work. One of his Batmans on VeVe, and again, a titan in his field. But because of what he did with bat cows, or what I should say, promised with bat cows and didn't do, a lot of people are extremely salty at him and whoever was involved in the bat cow candy fiasco. And I'm not saying it's his fault, because again, if you're Jim Lee and you say like, okay, you didn't necessarily know what you were getting into, you didn't understand Web3, and you want to do all these things, but then technically it's hard, it's going to cost a lot more money than you thought, and then you didn't make nearly as much money as you thought you would, why would you go in and try to fix that? So if I'm Jim Lee and I'm thinking, listen, all of these other big IPs, like they didn't rug, like Hello Kitty didn't rug their people. They just trusted a platform that they thought would make them money, didn't make them nearly as much money as they thought, and then the platform died because it was poorly ran, and whoever was running the platform on Recur had just horrendous capital allocation skills, and the platform failed. Hello Kitty did nothing wrong, I don't think. It's just the platform that they were on just got them wrecked. But then you have companies like CNN where they were touting this, NFT project, and then they legit rugged. They legit took people's money and said F you. And so like I don't think CNN like ratings or their approval rating could be any lower. But for Jim Lee, he can take a look at these companies and say like, okay, how many people actually even remember what CNN did or what Jim Lee did? Like, there's a couple people that are salty, especially on Twitter. But if I'm Jim Lee, I would be like, yo, they pretty much rugged their people, even though they didn't, but well, CNN did. They rugged their people, and they're fine. So Jim Lee's probably of the mind, like, I don't really need to fix this. I'm not going to take that big of a reputational hit. And he probably doesn't want to associate with a lot of Web3 stuff. But if I'm in Web3, which I am, I don't know if I want to, at least in the Web3 space, it's hard. And again, if I'm VeVe, how do you want to be? It's like, so one of the main theories that one of David's big announcement was, because I think it was IP related. Is it Fortnite? Is it like Roblox? Is it like Minecraft? You know, is it one of these things? And Fortnite and Minecraft would be great, and even Roblox would have been great, but Roblox had one of the worst PR disasters in history, and it might not have been time. So David has had Rick and Morty art hanging behind him for years now. My guess is that they were probably ready to announce Rick and Morty, and then the whole thing happened with the Justin Roiland, I don't know his name, where he got in hot water, and they probably decided it wasn't a good idea. So Fortnite, I don't think has that issue. I don't even think Minecraft has that issue, but Roblox had a really big issue. And again, if I'm VeVe and let's say the partnership was Roblox, I'd be like, okay, now's really not a good time to announce any type of thing with him. Now, obviously, the market as well. The market has just been trash all year and is continuing to be trash. So, and any big announcement that they might have is probably going to be delayed either way. But this is a very sensitive area. And someone like Jim Lee, who I don't think has really done anything wrong purposely, just his name is in a lot of hot water in Web3 right now. So it just gets really hard. It gets really hard to go in and try to rub shoulders and be super public with it, because you know some people that are very salty at the way things turned out. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, look at that scam. And again, Jim Lee's not a scammer. I think he just got in over his head a little bit. It gets hard. But yeah. Anyway, Jamar 1987, what's up, Randy? Call me VeVe to the moon. We love it. Protocol Slayer says, I'll be going to MegaCon because of Jim Lee, but also John Cena. Oh, is going. He bought the autograph package. Just deliberating when he signs if I greet him as John Cena or John. Oh, that's great. Probably get stuff signed by Jim Lee and John Cena. I would take a picture with John Cena and then a picture with like nothing, or even a picture with John Cena and be like, or yeah, it'd be like, what's the difference between these two pictures? They're the same picture. On the D2C website, you can still see NFT. Very good. Love that. Love that. Okay. Let's go over some of the rest of the stuff. Oh, Lordy. Oh, Darcy Donovan says hi, everybody. Shout out to Darcy Donovan for being awesome. Everything is awesome when you're part of a team. And OMI, or I'm sorry, Stacker, has burned a grand total of 2.8 million OMI today. Happy Christmas Eve, every pony. Happy Christmas Eve. This is the Third Amendment. Jesus. Let's post in this feed. Mac and cheese. Corruption. What? Who? That's, oh. Sorry, I had a... Elon Musk meets with UAE president to discuss advanced technology and artificial intelligence. Love it. Oh. All right. Nice to get a VeVe verse. Okay, there we go. It's a nice little photo between me and the gal. We were at FTK the other day. It was great. It was great. On December 21st, we also had 2.8 million OMI burned. Definity Market says Michael Idzkowski will be attending ICE Barcelona 2026, proudly representing Bloomsbury Money. If you're part of the gaming industry and looking for reliable, compliant, and scalable banking solutions, contact Michael. Bloomsbury Money provides physical, multi-currency named bank accounts tailored for both businesses and their staff, designed to support seamless operations, international growth, and secure financial management. It is shaping the future of gaming. It is the place the world of gaming goes to do business. Explore cutting-edge innovation, the latest product launches, regulatory updates, exclusive network opportunities, and the insights you need to grow your business on a global scale. This is 19 January to 21 January. I don't think I can go to that, but just in case. Barcelona, nice, we was in. Okay. It was the longest day of the year a few nights ago. That was very nice. House of Reps have drafted a bill to exempt stablecoin transactions under $200 from capital gains taxes. Thank God. Tether Gold dominates the sector, leading the market with approximately 2.2 billion, which accounts for 50% of the total. The US CPI was 2.7% year-over-year growth, estimated 3.1. The US core CPI is plus 2.6% year-over-year. Estimates were 3.0. New York Stock Exchange owner is said to be in talks to invest in crypto firm MoonPay. The Senate confirms the CFTC chair pick Michael Salig as agency takes larger role regulating crypto. Very good. Then you have Jump Trading accused of contributing to Terraform collapse. Administrator seeks $4 billion in damages. Jesus. Bybit returns to UK with 100 crypto trading pairs after a 2-year break. 2024 and 2025 is the second and third largest years for long-term supply reactivation in Bitcoin's history, surpassed only by 2017. And Hong Kong plans new crypto infrastructure rules for insurers. Also, I have a couple of, give me 1 second here. I have to, oh, my back. Oh, my other back. Okay. Powerball is 1.7 billion. Guys, if I am the sole winner of that and I get like $650 million, I'm taking OMI to a penny myself. Maybe not that high. I could do it. I could do it. We'll see. At least on one platform. I'll take daCat to $5 million. DEFINITY to 10 million. DEVVE to, I don't know. DEVVE to, I don't know. I'll like, I don't know what I'll do. Double DEVVE. We'll see. Again, I'll do a bunch of that. I would look for people that want to sell shares of VeVe, and I would just buy them. And I'd be like, all right, give me all your shares. I'll pay a premium for them. Own part of the company, and then make sure that VeVe owns part of daCat. So this way, like that's what I would do. And then I'd continue with daCat, obviously. Oh, we haven't talked about SMOL yet. Let's talk about SMOL. SMOL is now in the, oh, Darcy Donovan, thank you so much. Merry Christmas, she says, to all my amazing friends and family and fans. So grateful to each of you. May your holiday season be filled with laughter, love, and unforgettable memories. Wishing you and your family blessings today and always. All my love, Darcy. She is adorable. I freaking love her. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to ask you guys to do a little bit of a flavor here. I'm going to ask y'all if y'all can smash that like button. It's a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon. And smash that super thanks button down below. Super chats as well. On my bays. Okay. Speaking of VeVe owning, their own IP. Listen, I never thought much of Christmas trees. I just don't like Christmas. But I never thought much of Christmas trees. But they're collectors at heart stuff. Guys, this sold out. This is 1980, right? That's how many. This made $30,000 today. This is when I saw this Christmas tree, I was like, oh great, more Christmas trees. I was fairly underwhelmed. And then, bro, they crushed it. $30,000 on Christmas Eve. And they sold out within like hours. Like this was now partially because 1, 2, 3, they had 4 secret rares that were like 1 of 20s, and the rest of them that were not 1 of 20s, there's still 1 out of 475. So again, they got some of these right. They got the chases. And you have secret rares like for 2,500. Like this is David kissing. That looks incredible. $1,100 for the Secret Santa. Like, this is bananas. $2,000 for the Collectors at Heart Gold Christmas tree. And I think there's one other secret rare. Maybe there's not. Oh yeah. Oh no, that's a rare. This is a rare. Oh, that's $6. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, let me see. Oh, the On Guard. I haven't seen the On Guard yet, but I'm looking for it. I want to see what it's going for here. See a bunch of stamps. The Pucker Up is $3.75. Where the heck is the On Guard? Maybe I can find it. EN, right? This one. Okay, 421. That is much less than the others, so that's nice. I went for the drop 2 times today. Brick by both. I'm gonna take it out. Yeah, same. So, dude, bro, that sold out in 30 minutes, bro. So yeah, they're stuff. That's insane. I'm gonna sit down here for a sec. I feel like I look like Mike Wazowski over here with my little yeah, short. Okay, we're back up here. Yeah, that's insane. Bought all 4 rares under 12 gems to complete the set. Get that bread. The fact that they can do that, like this is nothing special, and it's still sold out 30K. And I'm not saying that Dave and Dan aren't special. Of course they are, but like nobody outside of VeVe has any idea who these guys are, what they're doing, and they're just even so. And it's the same collectible like over and over, like not over and over, but okay. On Guard with candy canes. On Guard with the golden candy cane. Like, this is one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen. Make 4 collectibles, change a little thing with each of them. Technically 8 collectibles now. But the brilliance of it is the scarcity of it. Even the ones that aren't the chases, like the normal ones, they're still one of less than 500. And then the ones that are the chases, like one of 20, like this is perfect. There's an episode of Gilmore Girls where Rory has to take a really shitty news piece for the Not Yale Daily News for the Chilton paper, and it again, it's a shitty piece of like reconstruction of like the faculty parking lot. And then the next week after, the one who's in charge of the Franklin, that's the newspaper at Chilton, goes on and says like, Paris, when one of your writers can take what is otherwise a mundane piece of news, like the repaving of a faculty parking lot, and turns it into a story about how we all eventually become obsolete one day, you need to give that person a little more meat. And then she says, Miss Gilmore, I was touched. So when David and Dan, when whoever came up with this drop, they took very mundane things like, hey, I'm putting up a Christmas star. Here's some mistletoe. Here's fighting with candy canes. You take very simple poses like that are otherwise like okay, and then you give them the essence of, I don't want to say Christmas spirit. You give them the essence of scarcity, where even the non-chases are still one of 475, and 4 separate chases, all of which one of 20, which people are going to make money on. This is perfect. They could do this every month with it doesn't even have to be a major holiday. January, Martin Luther King Day. Do something with that. February, Valentine's Day. How much of y'all would like to see David in like a diaper, like trying to, pew pew someone with his hearts? I would totally love that. All right, we're going to go through the list here. March. Hexman March. My girlfriend's birthday is in March. Daylight saving time. St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, dude. David and Dan sharing a couple of brewskis. David and Dan in green. David and Dan with 4-leaf clovers. Yeah, totally. Oh, Easter in April. Cinco de Mayo in May. June. Not really anything in June. When's Guy Fawkes Day? Oh, November. Independence Day, July 4th. Again, they could pretty much guarantee themselves $500,000. $500,000's a lot. Let's say $350,000 a year just with drops like this. Yeah. I might even make this its own video at some point because it's great. Moving on. See what we got here. Second, Hong Kong. Okay, very good. David posting it looks like it's Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but it's with Jake Paul that just got wrecked the other day. Mr. MC1 says, what's the status of DC official on Candy Digital, Root Network, Futureverse? Any drops, any DC NFTs in 2026? He goes in and says, will they be on Collect Chain, Jim Lee? You know, we'll see. My back is really getting hacked over here today. So I'm going to sit down for 1 second. Okay. You've got Tom Lee. His BitMine bought $40 million worth of Ethereum on the 22nd. $4 trillion JP Morgan is considering offering crypto trading for institutional clients. That's also great. So I'm going to, I did Friday and Saturday. Okay, all right. Guys, my back is really hurting. So I'm going to do a quick thing over here for, I mentioned Definity, but let's see what they're going at right now. Definity is up 2% on the day to 1.4 cents, 1.48, so it's close to 1.5. $2.3 million market cap, though, is very, very low. And again, they're doing a fudge ton of money. daCat's up 0.28% on the day, $1.1 million market cap, $144 in volume. Fias had a good day the other day. They were like 1.1 million, now they're like 2.2, even though down 1% on the day. Let's go over Earth2's Essence. $9 million market cap, only 18,000 in liquidity though. Yeah, it's $11,000 in Essence and $7,000 in Ethereum. That is a very, very low liquidity pool. You could buy it now and it could do a 10x like it's nothing, but you can't cash out. Like, how do you cash out anything meaningful from that? You can't. It's just they need to add more liquidity to that, or else no one's going to want to buy that token. Shit. A bunch of other stuff to do. I have to go over the collect stuff. I'm gonna have to do that in like another live tomorrow. We'll have an actual Christmas miracle. So I am gonna bounce for right now because my back is destroyed. Everyone please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments good for the YouTube algorithm. And I haven't seen Dashy in a couple days. Have a good night, sir. See you in the next one. Bye bye, everybody. Meow 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 meow.